What if I told you the smartest person in history wasn't Einstein, but a child prodigy with an estimated IQ of 250 to 300 who stunned the world with his intellect? He mastered languages in days, entered Harvard at just 11, and later chose a life of mystery and quiet rebellion. Meet William James Sidis, a misunderstood genius whose story is as tragic as it is fascinating. In this video, we'll uncover his mind-blowing abilities, explore why he vanished from the limelight, and learn why some claim his story is a cautionary tale of unfulfilled potential. William Sidis, or Billy as his family called him, was born on April 1, 1898 in Manhattan, New York, to two immigrant parents who had fled Ukraine in search of a better life. His father, Boris Sidis, had been imprisoned by the Russian government for 2 years for teaching peasants how to read. His mother, Sarah Sidis, escaped a violent attack by a traveling band of robbers who burned down their home. In America, Boris became a renowned psychologist, while Sarah became one of the few female physicians of her time. Their intellectual influence on Billy was undeniable. Though some credited his father's unconventional teaching methods for Billy's extraordinary intellect, Sarah later refuted this, claiming that they simply fostered his early love of learning. By the age of 6 months, Billy was already teaching himself to eat by observing his parents. By 8 months, he could feed himself. Before he was 2, he was reading, and by 3, he was using a typewriter. His ability to absorb complex subjects was remarkable, and by 8, he had even invented his own language, Vendergood. Billy's early education was unconventional, as he learned more from his parents than traditional schooling. And at the age of 11, he enrolled at Harvard University, a remarkable feat for any child. And get this, he would have been admitted at 9, but the university felt he wasn't mature enough. During his time at Harvard, he gave a lecture on 4-dimensional bodies that garnered nationwide attention. He graduated at just 16. However, despite his academic success, Billy struggled with his social life. He was uninterested in sports and found it difficult to connect with his peers. After graduation, Billy reportedly told a reporter, "I want to live the perfect life. The only way to live the perfect life is to live it in seclusion." When Billy was 17, he took a teaching assistant job at the William M. Rice Institute for the Advancement of Literature, Science, and Art, now known as Rice University. However, after less than a year, he left, citing frustrations with both the department and bullying by his students, who were older. He later enrolled in Harvard Law School, but dropped out just before completing his degree. In 1919, Billy's life took another turn when he was arrested for participating in a socialist demonstration in Boston. Although he was sentenced to 18 months in jail, his father Boris intervened and had him confined to a sanatorium in New Hampshire for a year to avoid prison. In a statement titled "Railroading in the Past," Bill reported that while at the sanatorium, he underwent mental torture, which included being scolded and nagged at for an average of 6 to 8 hours a day, and that it was sometimes done while he was loaded with sleeping medicine. There were also threats of being transferred to a psychiatric facility. After his brief stints in academia, Billy worked a series of menial jobs. He was employed with comptometers, early adding machines, and as a clerk, positions that many believed were beneath someone with his intellectual potential. Yet Billy chose to lead a simple, quiet life, distancing himself from the limelight and the expectations that came with his genius. In 1944, at the age of 46, Billy Sidis died from a cerebral hemorrhage in Boston. So, the genius learns 8 languages by age 8, invents his own at 7, joins Harvard at 11, and later dies doing menial jobs? Not exactly. While Billy Sidis withdrew from the public eye, his passion for knowledge never wavered. He had a wide range of interests, from cosmology to Native American history, and even rail transportation, and he continued to explore them throughout his life. For instance, in 1925, he published The Animate and the Inanimate, in which he predicted the existence of black holes, an idea well ahead of its time. In the book, he writes, "The peculiarity of the boundary surface between the positive and negative sections of space, then, is that practically all light that crosses it crosses it in one direction, namely from the positive side to the negative side. Though he wasn't explicitly describing black holes, this idea mirrors the event horizon, the boundary of a black hole, beyond which nothing, not even light, can escape. His insight eerily anticipates the one-way flow of light and matter that defines modern black hole theory. In 1935, he wrote The Tribes and the States, a detailed history of the settlement of the Americas. Billy was also a paradromophile, a term he coined to describe people fascinated by transportation. He authored a treatise on streetcar transfers called Notes on the Collection of Transfers, in which he proposed ways to increase public transport usage. Despite his genius, Billy preferred to work quietly on his passions, away from the public eye. Over the years, William Sidis has been a subject of fascination and debate. His life raises questions about how society treats prodigies. Bill had unparalleled talent, a boundless love for learning, and a deep intellectual curiosity. His self-published works on a range of topics reflect a mind that never stopped seeking answers. But did society nurture his potential, or did it ridicule and pressure him into isolation? Perhaps that's why he chose seclusion. Or maybe he was simply a failed prodigy. I'll leave it for you to decide. Whichever way you lean, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of extraordinary minds, whether history remembers them or not.